I'm Derek Jackson, and this is Brooks Early. This is my first ever Gospel Glow podcast, and this is our first guest, Brooks Early. Uh, let's try this again. I'm Derek Jackson. This is Brooks Early. This is the Gospel Glow podcast, and this is the first episode. Brooks, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself, kind of your background, stuff like that, to the audience?
My name is Brooks. Last name's Early. I make music. I produce. I do films. I'm known for winning Emmys, but I've never seen them in my life. So who knows? Maybe someday. But anyways, I'm very thrilled to be on this podcast today with Mr. Sir Derek B. Jackson, best soccer goalie in the world. Goalie?
No, bro.
Okay.
Striker.
Okay.
This dude. Okay, I'm there.
Speaking of striker, no, not even striker. Okay, so what is it you do in soccer? Gotta give me.
So I'll start off with background. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Derek Jackson. I have my own YouTube channel, that I currently have, I think, over like 7,400 something, and that's what I mainly post on. This is kind of like a side quest almost that I'm trying. But yeah, starting off, some of my background, I play soccer. I'm a faithful lad. I love God, and I kind of just want to use this podcast to spread positive messages to people, and overall be a role model in the content space where you can be both like a cool and an entertaining person, but also tie your roots to your faith. So starting off what you said with soccer, I play striker. I play up top, so I'm in charge of scoring goals. We just played the other night. Sadly, we lost. I mean, I scored, but we didn't do the job as a team to fulfill it. We just lost in penalties by one kick, which is terrible. If you know what that is, if you're a soccer fan, it's heartbreaking.
Sui!
But yeah,
this is gonna be a hard 30 minutes.
Casuals, but anyway, one of the things I want to start off with. So backgrounds, we talked a little bit about you. You said that you do music. Why don't you tell them some of your past experiences with some of the people you've worked with, and some of like the producers you worked with? Because you told me, and I was astonished. I was like, this is actually crazy that I get to talk to somebody like you that has this much experience in high school. It's crazy.
So what are we going for? Are we going for like worst stories, like worst experiences, or are we talking about like more?
Give us like a little of both worlds, because first of all, I would just show off a little bit, show who you worked with, talk about some of the people that you've been engaged with, because you told me, so they gotta know, the people gotta know.
I worked with multiple people who were bound to win a Grammy nominated at least. It's just sad they're not, like, because I could have been like, oh, I worked with somebody who won a Grammy, but no, I worked with somebody who was with Kanye at the time of him producing Yandi, and also like mid-production with what is it? I can't remember the album, but the album with Father Stretch My Hands, whichever one that is. I'm supposed to be a Kanye fan. Anyways, his name's Johan Lennox. Look it up. That's my first crazy ever working with somebody outside of like Nebraska, because it was like 2022, and I joined one of his lives where he was like reviewing songs with other producers, and I played him one of my tracks, and he was like, oh, I really like this, get in touch. And he was like one of those people who are verified that you can follow and message and they'll respond
quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of special though. Like that's because special. Like
most people think they're celebrities, or like when I hit people up, they'll just never respond, which I'm totally okay with. I get the people,
and they never see it sometimes.
Like the little guys, little people. But no, yeah, I was talking to him multiple times. I was sending him demos, and he was telling me how to construct my album, which is why that album called Minimal that I have is probably one of my best-ish piece of work, because it was way more constructed from the outside in, more than just working myself to get the whole construction for the whole thing. But it was really cool though, because like, I don't know, he would just give me really good pieces of advice that he's heard from the outside too, because he also works with 070 Shake and Metro Boomin. He worked on the Spider-Verse album. He also worked on Heroes and Villains. He worked on the intro for the chords and the vocals. He's also very much
getting me hyped up, bro.
He's so much into classical music.
It's crazy.
because I had chats with him a bunch about what is his futures with music, and he wants everything to go back to classical music. Not in like a genre sense, but more or less like he wants to make a cathedral or like a stadium that just plays classical music with rap music, which is kind of something that he also was a part of when they were doing that. Because there was a trend at one point where people were playing classical music with rap. Like the rappers would just get up and rap whatever song they had, and classical music would be behind it. Not like some Beethoven type stuff, but very jazz soul ish kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but the chords were really good. Me and him are currently working on this new project that I have coming up in about a few years. I don't know when I'm going to drop it, but I'm
Hey,
still currently working on all the logistics about it and all of the little details that I love putting in every single piece of my work. I talk for so long.
no, you.
I need a whole deep breath for that. So how that came about for a feature was that I was sending him demos, and there was one demo that I really thought was like special to me, and so I sent it to him, and he's like, is this the one?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I would make it short." He was telling me a bunch of tweaks, but I was just like, "I'll do it. Let's just go. Let's just like have you do a run of it." And he sent me a verse, and it was beautiful. But looking back on that moment, I should have taken his advice on how the song went, because the song was 5 minutes, and I could have shortened it to at least 3 or 2 minutes, maybe. But just like moments like that are really special, even if I messed it up. Like, I really love how that turned out, and that was like a very big part of saying, hey, maybe I got one chance or two. I worked with this kid named Maine. He's really, really good, bro. Like, I can't explain how good he is. He sounds like The Weeknd and Brent Faiyaz
Oh, I've
combined.
heard you've showed me some. Yeah,
I've
he's
showed
tough. He's not
me.
capping there. I can vouch that kid is tough. I remember you played in the Aux, and I when I first heard it, I was like, okay, you might need to hire people at this point. Like
Yeah,
he might need to be part of your like crew. That's actually crazy. I was like
he
listening to him, and you guys like on the same song together cooked every single song you played when you collabed with him. That was
and
crazy.
he's been there with me since 2021. I
Dang,
most of my features come from Discord. Like,
that's a good
you
platform.
will meet anybody on Instagram, but like mostly where all of the crazy hard workers are, like Discord.
Did you
Discord
meet him
server,
like community based or like join like a
community
certain Discord and then it like
community based.
oh, okay.
1 second, 1 second. Sorry.
Like,
No, I met him community based. It was very in this. I just sent demos to this Discord server. I was just like, anybody who wants to hop on this, and there were people who sent back, and those people were really bad.
I've
Like,
seen some yeah, and
no,
some of
you
your
haven't.
Fiverr
No,
orders are
you.
demanding.
Ooh, you have not seen the Fiverr. That's not even Fiverr relate. Like
Really?
Discord. Some Discord kids have these like really bad mics, and they're like, dude, I need to be on this.
Record on a microwave or something.
Oh yeah, it's so bad. Like, I love people who are like coming from the ground up, but like if you say you've been doing it for 5 years and you have so much experience, and then you just bring to the table like I went to the car and we were just chilling like a village. Like, I don't. Why would I? No. Like, I have a standard. Like, I won't say yes, man, to everything that I see. But
Yeah.
like if it has some talent behind it, and I know that you put effort behind it, then I put that in. But he showed a lot of effort and hard work in the way that he conveyed his stuff, because he knows how to like do this pitch thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's very melodic. It's very feeling to what I was trying to be like.
Accomplish.
Yeah. Which I hated, because every time he sent me a verse, I would have to redo mine. Like, I would have this
He
whole
like one
song.
upped you.
Yeah, he always one upped
that's,
me. Like,
that's
I would
funny.
have a layout of how my song was. He would send his verse back, and I'd be like, I have to redo everything. There was no way I was beating them.
That's
But that
funny.
was a time where I was like really happy in my life. That was a time where the Minimal album was just, to me, like my very first glimpse of like, okay, this is like it's just starting basis, this groundwork for something I had envisioned to go on. Because I was young. I was younger. Well, I mean, like, not saying it from like an old age, but like you don't really take the time to look at like how much time has been there. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm yapping, but like you think about years ago, that felt like seconds ago. but if you really analyze it, it was like super long ago. And you've mentally matured so much to the point where everything that like was so vivid is so like slowly decompressing. I don't know how to explain it,
I
but you
got
know what I mean, right?
you. Yeah.
So like I don't know. Like you'll see a movie like from 2 years ago and then you come back 2 years later and sometimes it's like the same as how you felt when you first watched it, but then sometimes it's
Feels a
like
lot different.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
man,
It's
I wish I
different.
was back in that moment to capture it, but I did. Every single moment that I had in that was captured through the album.
I got you.
Other features, I gotta say there was this one kid who did really good indie music that I worked with a lot, and he's amazing. I don't know. He's on my recent album called Casual Impossibilities, and the song is really deep and meaningful. And he took that aspect and he just thrived with it. Um, with other features, it's just mostly people who are around me who were decent at music that I would like make songs with and just kind of have our own little thing. Like at one point, I was in a collective called VMP, and we had a lot of issues and a lot of difficulties with each other and working like most people do. That's why not a lot of people are up like Brockhampton, like you know what I mean. Not a lot of people are like up there, but I don't know. I found stability in myself just to kind of like stay out of the way because most of them would give me pretty bad features. Oh my
I got
gosh. And there would be people who I'd ask for features for and they wouldn't respond to me for like months. And then they'd be like, oh, this song's done. And the project would already be out by that time.
Oh, I got you.
So inconsistency. Um, and then there was just this one kid who I would feature with, and we would, um, we would, I'm drawing a blank. Basically me and him have been collabing since I was in 7th grade. We've been working together. He
Long
lives in
time.
New Jersey. Sadly, I didn't get to see him on my New York trip, which is a pain, but you know, life's like that. But he would I would send him my open verse and he would take everything that I said or mostly the beat and then redo it and like use my words, basically like leeching off of my music and then making it his own and then posting it as his own. And I stopped talking to him for a very long time and then he cut out of it and then now we're good. Now he's my main guitarist who worked on a song with me on my recent album called WTF. He does real guitar and that whole thing was crazy. I don't know. I loved it. I
Wait,
loved
that,
it
that
so
kind of
much.
brings up a new subject because I was like, I had this like as part of the topics I wanted to cover. I was thinking about like the industry of music, and when you said that you kind of leached off your beats, and I was kind of curious on your take of this, but a lot of popular like TikTok artists, especially um, Instagram artists. I mean, like or the artists that use Instagram to promote a lot of the time, they do a lot of samples and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like cadences to sound exactly like their favorite artist. Like Kid Leroy makes a R&B type song or something, and they'll like completely use that as like their identity. I kind of wondered. Like I know you don't do that in particular. I mean, it's a good marketing strategy, but I also feel like it's kind of weird. I don't know what your opinions on it are, but it's like when the people use that artist's whole identity to like make songs off of and be like, oh, I sound just like The Weeknd, but I just made this new song. You got to go check it out. Like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird. It's just like you're not making a name for yourself. You're kind of like leeching, like you said.
In a sense, you like when I look at stuff like that, it's kind of like I can see what they're going for from my perspective because not a lot catches people's eyes nowadays. People's attention span are so short, but if you mention their favorite artist, they'll be like, "Hey, let me watch like 10 more seconds of this before
Yeah.
scrolling." That'll give them more revenue. But also in a sense it's kind of like if you become a fan of one of theirs, it's kind of like what are you expecting next? A song just exactly how you what you came for. And like let's say he switches it up and does his own little style thing, nobody's going to listen to it. I mean, some people might like it, but all they're expecting for is like, oh, this is like Kid Leroy but R&B. That's all they expect.
And also like I feel like the it really sucks because a lot of what I see on TikTok is they'll play a main like drill. Like I see a lot of drill beats where they'll start off the sample. It's like really cool. They have a couple good bars. They cut it off immediately because I think they realize that the rest of the song doesn't measure up. And like you listen, like you're like, okay, I'm kind of interested. So like you'll click on it, you listen to the first 30 seconds, you'll be like, this is fire. And then they start rapping the rest, and you're like, what you just did for the first 30 seconds doesn't match the rest of the song. Like, it's not the same, and you can't like retain the rest of the audience. Like, sure, you got a bunch of like there's a couple artists I just saw, but they got a ton off of a release because he promoted it and a lot of people liked it. But then I guarantee you, like, they clicked off immediately once that certain chorus part was off because the rest of it was terrible. Like it's just weird how they adapt that kind of like persona of being like their favorite artist, but then they try to be their own artist and they kind of like they need to work on it because it's not like it doesn't measure up. It's like you're trying too much to be like the artist. It sounds really cool, which is why you did it, because you're trying to be like them, and that's why it's cool. But then on your other side, on the flip side, you didn't work enough on your part, so then it doesn't really sound as good when you try to do like your cadence. But
I get that.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
100% originality, but I can't speak because I do the same exact thing. Like,
well, you don't promote like what I'm saying is like a lot of people do like every single video. Kid Leroy makes blah blah blah, or The Weeknd, or Travis Scott, or they'll even a bunch of them will use AI, which is like crazy. That's kind of crazy. AI songs are like they're cool, they're really cool, but I feel kind of bad because like some people that put hard work get way less views. But like they'll put the AI song and they'll be like SpongeBob sings whatever, and it'll get millions of views. But it's just insane that those get that many views, and like they're just simply putting it in AI generator. Yeah, and it's just like it's just simple.
That's just how life works with the algorithm. Algorithm is so sucky when it comes to little guys. It's especially you got to do something random. You got to do something huge, like
a different trend.
Yeah, like not even a trend thing. Like the system and the way that it works is like there will be somebody who will put their hard work and their life into some music and will never ever be heard ever in their life. And they'll just keep on wishing and grinding for it. But then some kid who just randomly picks up a microphone and just says a bunch of like a bunch of crap, just blows up, goes up to the top. And that's just how it is. Like there's nothing anybody can change. And the way that the system, like I feel like music is gonna fall pretty soon. The way that Spotify doesn't pay their artists enough for any of the stuff that they do, for Apple Music is the same, and Amazon. Every single like distributor is not paying enough as they should, and like people need to like start paying for albums. I feel like people need to start paying for product. Like if they really enjoy it and that's something that they really want to listen to, I feel like they should start charging for it, because nobody's gonna earn any money. Nobody's gonna get any money off of it, because all Spotify is doing for one stream is like 0.00 like 5 cents, and like you could get a million or 57 million streams or something like that before you even hit $1,000. You won't even get as close to that. And that's why people sell so much merch. That's why people sell so many like items and giveaways and like CDs. People still do CDs and cassettes just off, and vinyls, off of the whole fact that they get money just from merch, because the streaming platforms don't pay anything worth of anything. So because I'm talking about this because I see Kanye talking about it. I see James Blake talking about it, which are two very artists that I'm close tuned into. They said the system is very messed up with how they're paying out is. So I feel like, I don't know, I agree with them, because I see how people are trying to make so much money off of their music, but it just doesn't work. And I don't know, I get it, because Kanye was going to start selling his music for $20 per album. So I mean, I don't know, it just depends on where your standby is and how you look at it. But me personally, I think the system is messed up as a whole.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I had a couple other things I wanted to talk about. One that there's a couple big ones. I mean, a couple that I wanted to kind of talk about that whole different area. I mean, the TikTok ban. That is, as a content creator, that kind of. I mean, it doesn't really suck for me, but it was a platform that I wanted to eventually get good at, because on YouTube I kind of find success. On Instagram Reels I can still pull thousands, but it's not like as much as I am able to on YouTube, because I know more about the game of YouTube than I do about Instagram and TikTok, and I've never really understood it because even when I've tried to do trends and stuff, sorry, even when I've tried to do trends and stuff, it's not like you have to do it a certain way, and to a certain extent, you kind of sometimes have to be original because sometimes by the time I do it, it's not original enough. And I think just the situation with TikTok getting banned, I mean, I kind of find it like interesting because a lot of TikTokers that's their main source of income, that's
Yeah.
gonna really suck. Like for them, I feel really bad because if TikTok thoroughly gets banned, like I think what might happen is they might like I don't know how this works, but I think there's a way that they can like sell their company and also remove like their standing with the Communist Party because apparently they're like connected to like the China services. That's where they sell the data. Um, if TikTok like gets banned though, I think the sourcing and trafficking of views from TikTok to Instagram and YouTube is going to be astronomical. Like YouTube's going to have to step up, Instagram's going to have to step on how they do short form content, how they push out content because I feel like it's really interesting like for me and you like how you promote your music, more people are going to like a ton of more people are going to be on Reels, which obviously could be good for you, could be bad. I mean, depending on how you narrow down like the search words, all the tags, everything. But hopefully, if you play the game right, this could be like huge for those type of people. And I wondered like what are your next steps going to be like if TikTok is banned? Because also it's like screen time. Like I've been watching TikTok all the time, like in school, all that.
Surprisingly, I've been off TikTok
Oh
for
really?
like the past 2 weeks. Like I've been
as
I've
he had it on before the recording.
Nah, I didn't, bro. Yeah, I did, but like I check it. I check it every now and then.
I'm just.
But like the more that I feed into TikTok, the more that I lose a sense of what's going on.
Reality, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, bro. I remember I was one of the people that wasn't addicted to it at the time when it was getting popular. I was like on PlayStation. I was like, Tyler, why are you playing those videos in the background? Because I had my headset on. I don't know why I'm holding up a fake phone, but like we were like on the headset together, and he's like these videos are so like they're so addicting. And I'm like, bro, just get off the thing because we were trying to focus on the game and he kept watching TikTok. And then freaking a couple months later, or like a year later, I eventually got like a bunch of social medias, and I didn't have social media for a while. Like people were getting them in middle school and stuff. I didn't even get them till like high school, like the start of high school.
Yeah.
Which it's fine. I didn't like care too much because I wasn't really. I was like, I don't see the point of this because I was like, I would play games on my phone. I wouldn't even care.
You're normal,
but, like,
bro.
Yeah. I wish, but at that point, like it was surreal how TikTok kind of changed how people like how screen time works. I feel like because I feel like screen time wasn't even that bad for people. Like I mean, cell phones, people could play games and all that, call all that stuff. But with the evolution of Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram, especially those three off the top of my head, astronomical numbers.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how many people in school will go out in the hallways, watch TikTok the whole class period. Sometimes they'll get their work done right away just so they can scroll. They'll do it while the teacher's talking. Like the teachers will even have it in their hands. It's just like it's crazy.
It's brain rot.
And AI is like taking over too. So it's just like I wonder how it's gonna affect both.
What it is 2020 was the year when quarantine happened. It's like I don't know what it's called, but it's like the quarantine case, something like that. Everybody started using TikTok. Everybody started like tuning in more to stuff like that and around that area because everybody was waiting. Everybody was like, when is the next time we're going to be able to go outside?
Yeah.
Most of and our attention spans just started slowly like compressing all the time, like 24/7. I don't know how to explain it, but like we kept on finding things to do, finding ways to entertain ourselves or find ways to like get through life without going outside. So people started making videos inside. People started, just it kept on going, and then
gaming was popular too.
And then
especially
now TikTok nowadays has kind of evolved to
everyday life.
Yeah, like what's gonna capture more views? What's gonna like literally how YouTube used to be? YouTube, but for people with
pioneers. They were like the pioneers,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kind of evolved from. I think even Facebook. Facebook was like when Facebook first came out. I think out of all the platforms, Facebook and Twitter were like the pioneers of how like just the content creation scene. Like even if it was as simple as sharing posts and stuff, it was simple. But then YouTube, I think, kind of took over in terms of videos. Like it was kind of different from just watching TV. It was like, oh, we have something that somebody else made that's a normal person like me. Like that's kind of like that relatability aspect. One thing before I forget, there's a couple things I want to get to because I don't want it to run too long. For the last and final try, my phone is being stupid. We have tried to record this several times because it cut out while we were in the middle of recording. So we talked about Ryan Garcia a little bit. We don't need to go too much in depth. We just said the way that he has done things is kind of weird.
If we say any more, this camera will cut out, and it's the government. I'm telling you, it's probably not. I won't mention anything because I don't want to cut out.
Yeah, so, it's basically we were just saying like the build up to the fight. It's just kind of weird. If this is all promo, terrible. Anyway, I'm just going to pray to end this podcast. This has been very weird how many times it's cut out. But I thank you, Lord, for the ability to host a podcast like this, to have my friends on here like Brooks. I'm glad that we have the content mindset to be able to have these opportunities, and I'm thankful that you put them in my life. I thank you, Lord, for all that you do. I pray that I can have a good rest of the week. I pray that Brooks as well, as we get ready to go back to school, sadly. I pray for my soccer game tomorrow, as Brooks said in past recordings that he prays for me as well. I thank you for all of the above. Like there's too many things to list. The life that you've given me and the ability to have family, friends, all these experiences. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Podcast 1.
Hopefully, let's check it.